This is a call for an uprising. We welcome you to today's show. We ask those of you who have not subscribed to please subscribe to our YouTube channel as we continue to expose the satanic Illuminati agenda and the puppets, the celebrities, the frontmen for it that are just pushing witchcraft and mind control on the masses. Today I want to talk about occultist Johnny Depp. Very beloved Johnny Depp, deep worship into the occult. We don't even have to get into Johnny Depp's mysterious connection to the sacrifice of River Phoenix. Okay? We don't even have to get into Johnny Depp's new band, Hollywood Vampires. Okay? We don't even have to get into his affiliation with Hunter Thompson. Right? If you're not familiar with Hunter Thompson, involved in the Franklin cover-up. In interviews, he's admitted to murdering people and getting away with it. Pedophile. Johnny spoke at his funeral. What a great man he was. Sounds like one. Not even going to talk about Johnny's satanic tattoos that are found all over his body. Not even going to talk about Johnny Depp's magazine covers with the all-seeing eye. Not even going to talk about those things. What I want to talk about is the West Memphis 3. If you're not familiar with the West Memphis 3, it is a very long and complicated story, which I'll try to sum up pretty fast. 3 teens, okay, from West Memphis were convicted of murder for ritually sacrificing children. Okay, they got caught. They found books of Aleister Crowley in their home. Okay, which Aleister Crowley talks about the sacrificing of little boys and how they make the best sacrifice. Okay, we know human sacrifice has been going on since Babylon. The Bible talks and talks and talks about these people who commit human sacrifice. It is still going on. Do you know what else they found in his home? A deal with the devil, a pact, and a pact with Aleister Crowley. Isn't that adorable? Oh boy. A deal with the devil right in their house. All 3 of these kids had their names on the pact. And then you read these books about what the deal of the devil consists of and how you're supposed to make human sacrifice to the devil. But nobody cares. They think it was just some cute, like, oh, that's just adorable. He's making a deal with the devil. He's just being a teenager. Give me a break. But the West Memphis 3 were convicted of murder. And then HBO rolled out these propaganda documentaries making it look like the police were incompetent, that the judge was incompetent, that there was no evidence to convict these children, that they were only arrested because they were wearing gothic shirts or they listened to Metallica. So they got the whole nation brainwashed into believing that these people were wrongly convicted by religious freaks like me. Okay? So these people sat in jail, the 3 of them. There was enough evidence to convict them. Okay? So Johnny Depp, Eddie Vedder, Dixie Chicks, a bunch of these low-life celebrity witches and warlocks spent their time petitioning, protesting, using their power of celebrity, and got them released from prison. Yes, you heard that correct. Did they ever find the killer? No. Was there ever justice served? At least what we like to call justice on this earth served? Of course not. So they didn't find the actual killer, but because Johnny Depp and all these celebrities went on all of these media outlets, 60 Minutes, right? MTV, all of these channels aired their protests. Eddie Vedder put on concerts, raising awareness, and the sheep who worship Johnny Depp and the sheep who worship Eddie Vedder. What did they do? They got behind the cause to free these 3 men from prison. Nobody cared about the poor children who were ritually sacrificed. HBO airs documentaries pointing the finger at other people, religious freaks, stepfathers, whoever. Okay? Now the point here isn't I'm not condemning anyone, but the evidence pointed towards these people being involved. And all you really have to do is study the occult to know that they were involved because they worshiped the devil, because they had Aleister Crowley's books. But these celebrities made it their job to get a fellow witch, a fellow devil worshiper out of prison and to make a point to the rest of the world that they're in control now. Okay? The days of witches and warlocks being condemned by Christians are over. That was the point that they were making. Because we used to find these witches and these warlocks, and they go to trial. There'd be witch trials, right? Now the tables have turned. They're the ones in full power. And this was just a last slap in the face message to let everybody know. No longer will witches or warlocks or people who worship the beast be condemned by society. Christians will now be the ones who are condemned. So they took this story. They didn't even make it about the kids that were murdered. They made the murderers the victims. Okay? Or as they're saying, the suspected murderers, even though there's no evidence to point anywhere else but at them. Okay? People saying that they were doing weird stuff in the woods, that they had these witchcraft books, that they practiced witchcraft, that they practiced occult worship, that they practiced devil worship, that they read Crowley's books, which talks about human sacrifice. There was letters found talking about his worship of Crowley. And I've talked about in other videos, Crowley, these celebrities worship the ground Crowley walked on. Crowley was a pedophile. You can read it in his books. He performs sex magic. He says the best power you can get is by having sex with children. And these celebrities endorse him. And all the sheep just keep going to work. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to oust these people. We just cheer and applaud when Johnny walks in the room. Right? We clap and, oh, he's so great though. Who cares that he did this? Or that's so great of Johnny to help get these innocent kids out of jail. Even though there's no proof that they're not innocent. So Johnny went out of his way with fellow warlock, Eddie Vedder, and many other celebrities lined up. And they got him, these 3 kids who are now adults, released from prison. And I've been saying the power that we give these celebrities, and people comment and they say, what are you talking about? Beyonce doesn't have any power, bro. Oh, right. Look at the power these people wield. They are false gods. They are false idols, and we give them power. They have the power to rally people. Johnny Depp rallied the troops. He rallied people who don't even have a clue about the trial to go show up, donate money, to cheer, and then to root for the same cause because Johnny is rooting for it. Nobody mentions the poor children who were sacrificed. Nobody seems to care about these poor children who continue to be ritually sacrificed by these occultists. Look in the scriptures. They were sacrificing children all the way back in Babylon to Baal, right? We know that. God constantly talks about stop sacrificing children. They still practice it, and nobody cares. People think that this is insane. It is not insane. They're rubbing it in your face, letting you know. And now these Satanists, Damien Eccles, these people are out, and Damien Eccles is showing up with his new book, and fans are applauding him. And you can look on his Twitter, and he has an awful podcast that he does, talking about witchcraft and, the power of it. And you could hear how it combines this universal New Age garbage that they're tricking Christians into believing. People are cheering for this guy like he's a celebrity because they claim he was wrongly convicted of murder, even though they never found a murderer, even though he had Aleister Crowley's books and he was a witch or a warlock, whatever you want to call him, and a devil worshiper. And now he's out and he's a celebrity, hanging out with Johnny, getting matching tattoos, showing up on all these interviews, flaunting it in our faces. But he was wrongly convicted. You know why he was wrongly convicted? Because he liked Metallica. He wore black lipstick, painted his nails. So he was just picked on. They just decided to pick him, pull him out of a house. No alibi. No alibi. Of course not. No. The sheep believe it. The sheep follow it. Because people like Johnny Depp are going out of their way to make points and statements like this. And then this guy becomes a celebrity, a convicted murderer who was pardoned because celebrities went to bat for a fellow Satanist and decided to make a point and a mockery, not only of the judicial system, saying that they're above that they actually have the power to change the judicial system process. But to slap the face of Christians and say, you're no longer in control of anything. And Eccles will sit there now going around talking about witchcraft and occultism. And people are like accepting of this. They're saying, let him do his religion and you do yours. There is no religion. Okay? Christians are believers in Jesus Christ and follow his scriptures. Anyone who reads the scriptures and thinks that there's bad in it has a mental disorder. Okay? Because all of these new age religions, all of these religions around the world that talk about loving your neighbor and stuff, they're all of the messages from it are stolen from Jesus's message. Okay? But Jesus is left out of the picture. And society looks at Jesus as a whole as a condemner, even though his whole message is forgiveness and repenting. So again, I just wanted to point this out about Johnny Depp and Damien Eccles, these scumbags, okay, that we allow to just flaunt their power in our face. They only have power because the sheep give them power. Stop giving them power. Start standing up for yourself. Okay? Stop believing in Jesus. And if you believe in him, then show your love for Jesus and stand up for other Christians, for Jesus' gospel. And don't allow these warlocks and these witches, these lowlifes, to keep controlling our reality and brainwashing us with this occult symbolism and all these movies and these shows that they're in. To watch them on talk shows, preaching about universal love and peace, man, and leaving Jesus out of the equation. All right? It's sickening. And Johnny Depp is sick. Okay? He's involved in so many more things than just this. But I wanted to point this out. Because to me, seeing that a celebrity can get people out of prison, has the power to do that, the power to do that, is insanity. It is insane as a country that we allow this to happen. And this isn't even getting into his occult roots, okay? River Phoenix, okay? His sacrifice for the occult. How do you think they climb up the ladder of fame? Johnny Depp just happens to be so much cuter than everyone else. Oh, he's just so great, and he just climbs up the ladder. Now he's an A-list celebrity. You get there by the deeds that you do in the occult. That's how you move from C-level celebrity, like he was on 21 Jump Street, to B, to A, to now a star, an A-list star with Brad Pitt. Because they perform not only human sacrifice, animal sacrifice, all sorts of satanic rituals. But we worship them. So inadvertently, by rooting for these people and cheering for them and applauding, what do you think that's saying to our Lord, our God? What is that saying to Yahweh? Stop worshiping these people. Stop giving them power. We thank you for listening to today's show. God bless you. May peace be with you.